If you grow food, whether in a backyard, a field, or just a small patch behind the house, there's one truth that, well, every successful grower eventually learns the hard way. The strength of your harvest has almost nothing to do with luck, expensive fertilizers, or those trendy garden hacks. It really comes down to understanding the living system beneath your feet and knowing how to keep it functioning the way nature intended. For the next minute, just stay with this. Many growers lose months or even whole seasons because honestly, they never learn what you're about to hear. Once you grasp it, every planting decision becomes easier, every harvest becomes more predictable, and, the entire process becomes far less frustrating. Across centuries, from ancient terrace farmers to medieval household gardens to pioneer homesteads, those who kept their soils alive prospered even under harsh conditions. Those who ignored the soil, well, they fought constant crop decline. The pattern repeats itself today in backyards and small farms everywhere. If your soil is strong, even a rough season can still give you food. If your soil collapses, all the fertilizer in the world really won't save your plants. This knowledge is, without a doubt, the dividing line between gardening as guesswork and gardening as mastery. The core problem for most growers is that their soil is no longer behaving like a living system. Many modern growers, often without realizing it, treat soil as if it were just dead material. They till it heavily, leave it exposed to the sun and rain, push it along with synthetic fertilizers, and then, well, they wonder why plants become weak or disease-prone. The issue isn't simply nutrients or moisture, you see. It's about structure, biology, and the soil's ability to breathe. Healthy soil is, in fact, porous, layered and threaded with life. When that structure breaks down, water doesn't move correctly, oxygen can't reach the roots, and the microbes that used to feed your plants, well, they begin to die off. A practical way to see this is to take a handful of earth from your garden and give it a good squeeze. If it compacts tightly and stays in a hard lump, you're dealing with structural collapse. That means roots are fighting through a suffocated, airless environment. Plants grown in this type of soil struggle long before you ever see symptoms above ground. To rebuild the structure, the fastest method is to layer organic matter on top of the soil rather than mixing it in. Now, a farmer in the 1800s on depleted prairie land would do the same, spreading broken hay or leaf litter over fallow fields and letting weather and worms incorporate it over months. This slow rebuilding is far more effective than constant digging. The second issue is that most growers misunderstand water, and it costs them their harvests. Watering mistakes destroy more crops than pests or diseases. Not because water is bad, but because modern gardeners tend to water frequently and shallowly. This keeps the surface damp, but starves the deeper roots of air and encourages them to stay weak and shallow. Traditional growers knew better. In ancient North Africa, farmers would soak the earth deeply once, then leave it alone for weeks, forcing roots to chase moisture downward and building resilience that allowed crops to withstand heat and scarcity. You can apply the same principle today. Take one bed and water it deeply until moisture has penetrated at least 20 to 25 centimeters. Then wait until the top few centimeters are fully dry before watering again. Plants in that bed will show stronger growth, deeper root development and better drought resistance compared to beds given light, daily watering. This single shift changes everything. The third truth every food grower must understand is that mulch governs the stability of the entire system. Mulch is not decoration. It is, in fact, the foundation of sustainable soil health. When used correctly, it moderates temperature, preserves moisture, feeds microbes, prevents compaction from rainfall, and restores structure faster than compost alone. But, many growers fail because they apply mulch incorrectly. They either use the wrong material or pile it against the stems of their plants, or, apply it in thin layers that do nothing to protect the soil. To use mulch properly, you need enough thickness to shield the soil from direct sun and heavy rain. This usually means layering shredded leaves, straw, or aged plant material until the soil surface is completely covered. And always keep it pulled back slightly from the base of each plant to allow airflow. A medieval kitchen garden would have looked exactly like this during the growing season. A thick floor of organic matter remained on the beds at all times, breaking down slowly and feeding the soil naturally. It is not old-fashioned. It is simply correct. A practical example is the restoration of a dead or compacted bed. Instead of digging, you simply cover the entire surface with 6 to 8 centimeters of shredded leaves or dry grass. Then water it thoroughly and just leave it be. Within weeks, the structure softens, worms return, and the soil begins rebuilding itself from the top down. Once a grower understands soil biology, water discipline, and proper mulching, food production becomes far more predictable. The anxiety of wondering why plants yellow, wilt, or refuse to produce begins to fade. Instead, you can diagnose problems quickly and respond with techniques that actually work. Healthy soil supports strong root systems. Strong root systems resist heat, disease, and pests. This chain of strength is what ancient farmers relied on, what homesteaders depended on, and what every modern grower must reclaim if they want consistent harvests. If you grow food, this is the foundation. Not expensive inputs, not complicated systems, but simple, time-proven principles backed by centuries of successful cultivation. If this guide helped you understand growing on a deeper level, make sure you subscribe to Husbandry and share this video with anyone who relies on their land for food. The more growers who master these fundamentals, the stronger and more resilient our communities become.